Hello everyone, my name is Nidhi Chauhan. I'm assistant professor in Gyan Vihar School of Pharmacy, which is a part of the Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. So today we are going to discuss the polynuclear hydrocarbon. This we have already discussed in we have already discussed some of the topics of this polynuclear hydrocarbon in the last lecture also. So this polynuclear hydrocarbons come in your pharmaceutical organic chemistry second, that is in your fifth sorry, your third semester. So let's start the topic. So the learning objective of this topic, this polynuclear hydrocarbon, is that we are going to here study about the polynuclear hydrocarbon. But what are these polynuclear hydrocarbon? Just a brief. And we are also going to study about the chemical reactions of naphthalene and its uses. So what are the naphthalene and what type of compound is naphthalene and its some of the reactions that are left in this chemical reactions and its uses also and its derivatives. So what are its derivatives, how they are prepared, and the chemical reactions of this naphthalene from naphthalene, what are going to be prepared from this naphthalene, and what the naphthalene will react with the other reagent, and the product, what product will be formed, and what are the derivatives of this naphthalene, and how they are prepared, and and its uses also, and also we are going to learn about the phenanthrene, which is the another polynuclear hydrocarbon, and how it is prepared and how it is also prepared. Next is the student outcome. So here they will going to know about polynuclear hydrocarbon, that what is your polynuclear hydrocarbon, and also they are going to know about the naphthalene, the chemical reaction, that from naphthalene what are the products there, but by naphthalene or by chemically reacting naphthalene with other reagent, what the product will they get, and what are the uses of this naphthalene, and what are its derivatives, and how they are formed or how they are prepared. Next, they will also be going to know about phenanthrene and its method of preparation. That how, what is your phenanthrene, and what are the method of preparations. Next is your polynuclear hydrocarbon. So here, the polynuclear hydrocarbon is a hydrocarbon which is made up of fused aromatic rings molecules. Means here that the aromatic rings, means the benzene rings, are fused, and one or more benzene rings are fused together, and there is a formation of this polynuclear hydrocarbon, or you can say that polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbon, polynuclear um, uh, polycyclic uh, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon. So these are the name of this polynuclear hydrocarbon, or in the short you can say that PAH. And these are the hydrocarbons. These are also consist of the carbon and the hydrogen, and these are also the aromatic. Means here the structure, aromatic benzene ring is also present in this polynuclear hydrocarbon, and it is a hydrocarbon that is made up of fused aromatic ring molecules. Means here that the aromatic ring is present in the this polynuclear hydrocarbon. So these rings share one or more sides and contain delocalized electrons. So these rings here share one or more sides and contain delocalized electrons. The aromatic ring that is fused, one or more aromatic ring that are fused together to form this polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbon. These are also sharing one or more side, means they are fusing from one side or the another side, and also containing the delocalized electron. Means there is also presence of resonance that is happening in this polynuclear hydrocarbon, because they are containing these aromatic ring molecules. Another way to consider PAH is molecules made by fusing two or more benzene rings. Polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbon molecules contain only carbon and hydrogen atoms. So these, another way to consider this, if you have to consider this PAH in molecule, these are made by fusing two or more benzene rings, same from one side or from the another side, from one or more side of the benzene rings. And these polynuclear hydrocarbon, aromatic hydrocarbons, they contain only carbon and hydrogen atoms. Means these hydrocarbon here means that they are containing only the carbon and hydrogen carbon, and these are in the form of a aromatic ring, and that is why they are known as polynuclear hydrocarbon. So these are the hydrocarbons that are made up of fused aromatic ring. Means here the aromatic ring is fused from one side on the more side or from three sides. Uh, um, these polynuclear hydrocarbons, and they are also containing the delocalized electron. Means there is also resonance is happening and there is a delocalization of electron. They are containing this delocalization of electron, and this another way to consider. If we have to consider this PAH, then we can also say that these are made by fusing two or more benzene rings. So this polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbon molecules, they are containing only carbon and hydrogen atoms. So the properties of this polynuclear hydrocarbon. So the polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons are lipophilic non-polar molecules. Means they are lipophilic, lipid filling. They are lipid loving. Filling means here loving. Phobic means hating. So here they are lipophilic, means they are lipid loving and non-polar molecule. It means they are non-polar molecules. There is no polarity in them, and that is why they are the non-polar molecules. They tend to persist in the environment because pH are not very soluble in water. So they persist in the environment because of their nature, because these PAH, these polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons, these are not very much soluble in your water. So while 2 and 3 rings PAH are somewhat soluble in aqueous solution. So these 2 or 3 rings PAH are somewhat, means these polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons which are containing 2 or 3 rings in them, they are soluble, and they are soluble in the aqueous solution, and this solubility of this PAH is decreased as molecular mass increases. It means if the pH rings molecular mass is increasing, then their solubility is decreasing. So here, if that is why here it is said that it is written here that 2 and 3 rings, means 2 or 3 ring containing this PAH are soluble in the aqueous solution, but the solubility decreases. But the solubility means if they are soluble in the aqueous solution, the solubility is decreases due to the molecular mass increases. The molecular mass increases. So the 2, 3, and 4 ring pH are sufficiently volatile to exit in the gas phases. So these P2, 3, 4 ring containing PAH, these are volatile, means they are converted into a vapor form, and they can exist in the form of the gas phase or gas state, while larger molecule exist as solid. Means here the smaller PAH molecule which are having these 2 or 3, 4 rings which are soluble in your aqueous solution also, these PAH are sufficiently volatile. They are volatile in nature, and they are also exist in the gas phase. While larger molecule exist as solid, means if they having the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so that polynuclear hydrocarbons, they are solid in nature, and these pure solid PAH may be colorless, white, pale yellow, or pale green. So these pure solids means the larger molecules which are existing as your solid, these are consisting, they are having the colorless, or they exist in a colorless, white, pale yellow, or in a pale green color. So here the polynuclear hydrocarbons, these are the hydrocarbons that are made up of your fused aromatic ring, and these are sharing one or more sides, and these are also containing delocalized electrons, as well as these are also existing as a PAH is molecule that is fused by 2 or more benzene rings, and these are also containing carbon and hydrogen. And these properties, the properties of these, that polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons, the properties of this, that they are lipophilic in nature, they are non-polar molecule, they persist in the environment because these PAH are not very soluble in water, but the 2,3 containing this PAH are soluble in this aqueous solution. But the solubility is decreases as the molecular mass increases in this PAH, polynuclear aromatic hydrocarbons. So these 2,3,4 ring PAH are sufficiently volatile and they exist in the gas phase, while your larger molecules, means the larger polynuclear hydrocarbons, these are existing as a solid. So these pure solid PAH may be colorless. These are appearing as a colorless, white, pale yellow or pale green color, and they are also very toxic to the human health. And these polynuclear hydrocarbons, they are of two heavy polynuclear hydrocarbons or the light polynuclear hydrocarbons, and these are toxic to the human health, and these are present in the environment through the if there is a fire that exists in the forest, or burning of the forest, they exist as that. In that case, the vapors, the fumes that contains the PAH molecules. Next is this reaction. We have already studied the method of preparation and what are its chemical properties of this naphthalene. We have already studied in the last lecture. So today is your sulfonation. So when this naphthalene is undergoing this sulfonation at low temperature, then they produce naphthalene 1 sulfonic acid, while at your high temperature, this produces naphthalene 2 sulfonic acid. So here the naphthalene at naphthalene at low temperature means at 80 degrees centigrade, this is low, and at low temperature this naphthalene is producing your naphthalene 1 sulfonic acid. You can see here these sulfonic acid is present on the first carbon atom of this ring. So that is why it is shown naphthalene 1 sulfonic acid. And if the naphthalene is reacting or is on sulfonation with H2SO4, then this is at a high temperature at 120 degrees centigrade. It is producing this naphthalene 2 sulfonic acid. Next is your Friedel-Crafts alkylation. So this Friedel-Crafts alkylation at low temperature is carried out for naphthalene. So the naphthalene shows this Friedel-Crafts alkylation at a low temperature, and it is reacting with your iodomethane or methyl iodine. You can say it methyl iodine or you can say it iodomethane, and then it produces your two products. One is your major, 1-methyl naphthalene, and second is your minor, that is your 2-methyl naphthalene. So here on in this Friedel-Crafts alkylation that has happened at low temperature, and this naphthalene is reacting with this iodomethane or your methyl iodine, and there it is forming this 1-methyl naphthalene, and there is a formation of this 2-methyl naphthalene. This minor product is formed and one major product is formed. So say in sulfonation also the two products are formed. At low temperature, it is naphthalene 1 sulfonic acid is formed, and at high temperature, it's naphthalene 2 sulfonic acid is formed. And in case of this Friedel-Crafts alkylation, so at low temperature, it is not occurring at high temperature, it is occurring at low temperature. So alkylation means that that this polynuclear hydrocarbon is going to react with the alkyl molecule. So here the alkyl molecule is your CH3I, because this CH3 group is your alkyl. So this is your methyl halogen. This is your alkyl halogen, alkyl halide. So this naphthalene is reacting with this alkyl halide, which is your methyl iodide, and this is giving or producing the two products, that is your one is your major and the other one is your minor. And here you will see this major product is your one methyl naphthalene because it is present on the first carbon of the benzene ring, or and the minor product is your 2-methyl naphthalene. So Friedel-Crafts alkylation at low temperature is carried out for naphthalene, which reacting with idomethane to produce 1-methyl naphthalene as major product and 2-methyl naphthalene as minor product. Next is your Friedel-Crafts acylation. So here acylation means the benzene ring is attached to any of the halogen, and here you will see that naphthalene is reacting to one with the polar solvent and another with the non-polar solvent. So here naphthalene undergo Friedel-Crafts reaction with acetyl chloride and to form the alpha or beta product depending on the condition. So here you will see this naphthalene. First, we will show that it is reacting in the presence of your acetyl chloride, in the presence of this catalyst, that is your aluminum chloride, and in this all reaction is happening in the presence of the polar solvent, that is your nitrobenzene, and here you will get the product methyl 2-naphthyl ketone. So this is the ketone that is formed from this naphthalene. So here one product is one is your alpha and second is your beta. So this is your methyl 2-naphthyl ketone. So in the second reaction, you will see that naphthalene is reacting with this acetyl chloride, and here in the presence of the catalyst, that is your AlCl3, aluminum chloride, and in the presence of your carbon sulfide, disulfide. So here this carbon disulfide is a non-polar solvent, and when naphthalene is reacting with this acetyl chloride in the presence of your AlCl3, that is your alkyl chloride, and in the presence of this non-polar solvent, that is your carbon disulfide, so there is a formation of this methyl 1-naphthyl ketone. So in this, you will see that the Friedel-Crafts acylation, the naphthalene undergoes Friedel-Crafts reaction with acetyl chloride, and there is a formation of the alpha or beta product depending on the condition. Means first condition, when naphthalene is reacting, in both the cases it is reacting with the same reactant, that is your acetyl chloride, but the condition is changed. In one, there is when there is a formation of this methyl 2-naphthyl ketone, then there is a polar solvent is present, and in the second you will see the methyl 1-naphthyl ketone, and there is a formation of methyl 1-naphthyl ketone. Here we are getting this non-polar solvent. So naphthalene is reacting in the presence of this acetyl chloride, or with the catalyst, or the catalyst is present, that is aluminum chloride, and the two solvents are given. One is your polar solvent and second is your non-polar solvent. So one polar solvent is your benzene, a nitrobenzene, and the non-polar solvent is your carbon disulfide. So in naphthalene, when it is reacting with this polar solvent, there is a formation of this methyl 2-naphthyl ketone, and here if this naphthalene is reacting with this non-polar solvent, then there is a formation of this methyl 1-naphthyl ketone. So in this Friedel-Crafts alkylation, there is a formation of this alpha or beta product depending on the condition. So naphthalene is undergoing Friedel-Crafts reaction with acetyl chloride, so that there is a formation of the two products. One is the alpha and second is your beta product, and it all depends on the condition. Means whether it is your polar solvent or it is your non-polar solvent. Next is your medicinal use of naphthalene. So first is your production of naphthalene. Naphthols means here naphthalene is used for the production of this naphthol. That is here the structure is given, that is your alpha naphthol. So here naphthalene, its medical use is that they are used in the production of this naphthol. Naphthols, because this is the naphthalene ring, so naph is from there, and OH is present on the alpha position. That is why it is your all. All is written here and alpha. So this is your alpha naphthol. Second is your production of dyes. Means here this naphthalene is used in the production of this naphthalene. Sorry, this naphthalene is used in the production of this dye. So here the example is given here. This is your phenyl azo beta naphthol red dye. So here you can see that one side it is a phenyl ring is attached, and on the another nitrogen the naphthalene ring is present, and this is your naphthol. This is your naphthol on one side of this nitrogen, and the second side of this second nitrogen, it is your phenyl ring. That is why its name is phenyl, and this N double bond N is your azo group. So this that is why its name is phenyl azo beta naphthol red dye. So this all is present. This OH is present on the beta position. That is why its name is beta naphthol, and this is a red color dye, and this naphthalene is used for the production of this red dye. So here as the name phenyl, so one nitrogen which is attached to a phenyl ring, and another nitrogen, second nitrogen, that is attached to the this naphthalene ring, naphthol, and in this on the beta position this OH is attached, so its name is phenyl azo beta. Azo is due to the N double bond N, and this phenyl azo beta naphthol red dye. So medicinal use of this naphthalene is first is used in the production of your naphthol, second in the production of your dyes. Next is your preparation of beta blocker drugs. Means here it is used in the production of this beta blockers drugs. So that is your propranolol. So this propranolol is your beta blocker drug that is produced or that is prepared by this naphthalene. So naphthalene is reacted with the reagent, some reactant, and then there is a formation of this propranolol. Fourth, it is also used in the synthesis of the synthetic dyes. If we have to make the synthetic dyes, then we can prepare it from this naphthalene. Then fifth use of this naphthalene is that it is also useful as insecticides. Means here in it is used to kill the insects. So this naphthalene is also used as a insecticide. Next is your veterinary medicine. So here this is on this naphthalene is also used as an veterinary medicines, as it is used in the dusting powder. So here this naphthalene are used in the dusting powder, and that dusting powder is used for the veterinary use. So this dusting powder is used as a veterinary medicine. That is why this naphthalene is used in the production of this veterinary medicine. Next is your polyethylene naphthalene to prepare bottles. So this polyethylene naphthalene that is used to prepare plastic bottles. So here this naphthalene when is reacted with this polyethylene product and reactant, then there is a formation of this polyethylene naphthalene, and this plastic bottles are formed. So naphthalene sulfonic acid are used to prepare plasticide or natural rub. So this naphthalene sulfonic acid that is prepared from this naphthalene. So this naphthalene sulfonic acid, this is prepared from the sulfonation. From sulfonation, there is a production or there is a formation of this naphthalene sulfonic acid, and this naphthalene sulfonic acid are used as a plasticizers, as well as they are also used to prepare the natural rubbers also. Next is your naphthalene drugs to cure tough urine infection, eye trouble, etc. So these naphthalene, if they are used in the pharmaceutical field, their drugs are prepared. So these naphthalene drugs are used to cure your cough. In the cough medicine, this naphthalene drug is present, as well as in the urine infection also. When there is infection in your urine, then this naphthalene drug is used to cure it. And the eye trouble also, if there is any trouble in your eyes, then naphthalene drug is used to cure that eye trouble. So here the naphthalene are used to prepare the alpha naphthol. Secondly, these are used to prepare your dyes. Thirdly, it is used to prepare the beta blocker drugs. It is also used to synthesize synthetic dyes. It is also useful for insecticide, and it is also used in the veterinary medicines, also in the dusting powders. Polyethylene naphthols are used to prepare the plastic bottles, and this naphthalene sulfonic acid are also used to prepare plasticizers or the natural rubbers, etc. So this naphthalene drug is also used to cure cough, urine infection, and your eye trouble. So naphthalene is used mainly as a precursor to other chemicals. So this naphthalene is used as a starting material or your precursor that is used in the preparation or in the synthesis or the production of the other chemical. The single largest use of naphthalene is the industrial production of phthalic anhydride. Although more phthalic anhydride is made from O-xylene, many azo-dyes are produced from naphthalene, and so is the insecticide 1-naphthyl N-methyl carbamide, other useful agri-chemicals, including naphthoxyacetic acid. And this nedoxazole is a beta blocker. So here the uses of this naphthalene is that it is also used mainly as a starting material or a precursor in the formation of the other chemical, as well as the single largest use. The largest use of this naphthalene is that it is used in the production of your phthalic anhydride. So here phthalic anhydride is also prepared from this naphthalene, and this naphthalic anhydride is also made from O-xylene also, but naphthalene is in the industrial production. If we have to produce it in a large scale, in an industrial production also of this phthalic anhydride, then we have to use this naphthalene in the production of the this phthalic anhydride. And this azo dyes are produced from this naphthalene. So this azo dyes means an N double bond N is present. That group is present in the azo dyes that are also produced from this naphthalene, and it is also is used as an insecticide. And this is your 1-naphthyl N-methyl carbamate, and your other useful agri chemicals includes the other agricultural chemicals that are used to protect the plant or the crop from the insects or from the other things. Then these includes the agri chemicals that are produced from this naphthalene, and this drugs, that chemical that includes this agri-chemical, that is your naphthoxyacetic acid. And this is the structure that is given of this nedoxazole, that is a beta blocker. So it is also used in the preparation of the beta blocker, that is your propranolol. Next is your hydrogenation of naphthalene, that gives tetraline, which is used as a hydrogen donor solvent. So this hydrogenation, if we are doing hydrogenation in this naphthalene, then then we are getting the product, that is your tetraline. So this tetraline is produced from this hydrogenation of your naphthalene, and it is also used as a hydrogen donor solvent. So this in this hydrogenation of this naphthalene, that gives tetraline, that is used as a hydrogen donor solvent. So here the solvent that is donating the hydrogen. So this naphthalene sulfonic acid and sulfonates, many naphthalene sulfonic acids and sulfonates are useful. Alkyl naphthalene sulfonates are surfactants. So these alkyl naphthalene sulfonates are also acting as a surfactant, means they are acting as a surface active agents. So surfactant means a surface active agent. So these alkyl naphthalene sulfonates are acting as a surfactant, and the amino naphthalene sulfonic acid, naphthalene substituted with amine and sulfonic acid are intermediate in the preparation of many synthetic dyes. So these naphthalene sulfonic acid and your sulfonates are very useful in many many cases. And if and this alkyl naphthalene sulfonates are also used as a surfactant, so means these are acting as a surface acting agents. And these amino naphthalene sulfonic acid, these naphthalene sulfonic acid which are containing the NH2 also, so it means this is your amino naphthalene sulfonic acid. This naphthalene substituted means same, the amino naphthalene sulfonic acid, the naphthalene which is substituted with your amines, means your amines or your sulfonic acid. These are intermediates. These are the intermediates that are used in the preparation of many synthetic dyes. So these naphthalene substituted with amines and sulfonic acids are intermediates, and these are used in the preparation of many synthetic dyes also. So the hydrogenated naphthalene, tetrahydronaphthalene, that is your tetraline, which is used as a hydrogen donor solvent. So this tetraline, which is also known as your tetrahydronaphthalene, means there is in the naphthalene there is a hydrogenation, means there is an addition of the hydrogen on this naphthalene. That is why it is known as your tetrahydronaphthalene. And this tetraline and d decahydronaphthalene, that is your decaline, and are used as low volatility solvent, means these are used as a low volatility solvents, this tetraline and this decaline. And this tetraline is used as a hydrogen donor solvent. When we are hydrogenating the naphthalene with this hydrogenating the naphthalene, there is a formation of this tetraline. So the naphthalene sulfonic acid are also used in the synthesis of 1-naphthol and 2-naphthol precursor for various dye stuff, pigments, rubber processing chemicals, and other chemicals and pharmaceuticals. So these naphthalene sulfonic acid, these are used in the synthesis. These are used in the synthesis of your 1-naphthol. These are used in the synthesis of your 1-naphthol and 2-naphthol, 1-naphthol as well as 2-naphthol. And these precursors, and these are acting as a precursor, means these are acting as a starting material for the production of various dye stuffs, various pigments, and which is used in the synthesis of your 1-naphthol and your 2-naphthol. And these precursors, these are used in the production of various dyestuffs, pigments, rubber processing chemicals, and other chemicals and pharmaceuticals. So this naphthalene sulfonic acid, these are used in the synthesis of your 1-naphthol and 2 chemical. And this 1-naphthol and 2-naphthols, these are used as a precursor in the various dyestuff, pigments, rubber processing. Like in the last, I have shown you the example of that azo compound that is containing an alpha naphthol on it, and rubber processing chemicals and other chemicals, or in the pharmaceutical industries also. So naphthalene sulfonic acid are used in the manufacture of naphthalene sulfonate polymer plasticizers, dispersant. These naphthalene sulfonic acid, these are used in the manufacture of your naphthalene sulfonate polymer plasticizers also, and these are used to produce concrete and plastic board also. So here these naphthalenes are very useful in the manufacture of your naphthalene sulfonate, that is your polymer plasticizer, that is used as a dispersant and dispersing agent. And this is also used to produce your concrete and plaster board also, that is your wall board or your dry wall. And they are also used as a dispersant in your synthetic and rubber natural rubbers, and are also used as a tanning agent. So these are used as a tanning agent in leather. So industries, agriculture, formulation, that is dyes and other dispersant in the lead acid battery plates. So these are also used in act as a dispersant in your acid battery plates, and these are also used as a dispersant in your agriculture formulation, and that is used for the pesticides. So to kill the pesticides, to kill the pests. So here naphthalene sulfonate polymers are produced by these naphthalene sulfonate polymers are produced by your treating naphthalene sulfonic acid with formaldehyde followed by neutralization with sodium hydroxide or calcium hydroxide. So these naphthalene sulfonate polymers that are produced by when we are treating this naphthalene sulfonic acid with your formaldehyde, there we are getting this naphthalene sulfonate polymers. And when we are neutralizing with this sodium hydroxide or calcium hydroxide, then we are getting these polymers. Okay, so these products are commercially sold as super plasticides. So these products that are formed, these products means here naphthalene sulfonate polymers that are these products, naphthalene sulfonate polymers are commercially on the commercial scale. These are sold as super plasticides for the production of high strength concrete, for the production of high strength concrete. And next is your the laboratory use. So this molten naphthalene provides an excellent solubilizing medium for poorly soluble aromatic compounds. So these naphthalene, which is in the case of your molten state, these are provided as a excellent solubilizing medium, and for a poorly means that are not soluble, that are poorly soluble aromatic compounds. So these molten naphthalenes are acting as a solubilizing medium, and in many cases it is more efficient than other higher boiling solvents such as your dichlorobenzene, benzonitrile, nitrobenzene, and urane. So these are more efficient than other, means these are more efficient for the poorly soluble aromatic compounds as a solubilizing medium, other than your high boiling solvent, that is your dichlorobenzene, benzonitrile, nitrobenzene, and urane. And the reaction of C60 with anthracene is conveniently conducted in refluxing naphthalene to give the 1,1 dier elder or abduct. So here there is a uh, this dier elder abduct is formed, and there is a reaction of this C60 with the anthracene, and that is conducted in a refluxing, that is conducted by refluxing naphthalene, and there we get a 1:1 dios elder abduct. So the aromatization of hydropurpurine has been achieved using a solution of DDQ in naphthalene. So this hydropurpurine has been achieved when we are using a solution of this DDQ in the naphthalene, then we are getting the aromatization of this hydropurpurine. And the wetting agent surfactant. So here this naphthalene is acting as a wetting agent as well as a surfactant, and alkyl naphthalene sulfonate, that is a ANS, are used in many industrial applications as non-detergent wetting agent that efficiently disperse colloidal system in aqueous medium. And this major commercial application are in the agricultural chemical industry, which uses ANS for wettable powder, wettable granular formulation, and the textile and fabric industry, which are using this wetting and deforming properties of your ANS, that is your alkyl naphthalene sulfonates, and these are having the wetting and deforming properties, and these are used as a bleaching and your dyeing operations as a fumigant. The naphthalene has been used as a household fumigant. It was once the primary ingredient in mothballs. So here, although it has largely been replaced in favor of an alternative such as your 1,4-dichlorobenzene, and in a sealed container containing naphthalene pellet, naphthalene vapors build up to level toxic to both the adult as the and the larval form of many moths that attack textiles. So these are used as the fumigant in case of the in household. In household, these are acting or used as a household fumigants, and these are in a sealed container which contain a naphthalene pellets. These naphthalene vapors are toxic for both the adult as well as for the larval form of the moth that are attacking the textile, means the clothes. So other fumigant uses of naphthalene includes use in soil as a fumigant, pesticides, and in attic spaces to repel animals and insects, and in museum also, in museum storage drawer and cupboards to protect the content from attack by insect pests. So naphthalene is a repellent to opsomums. So here other uses of this naphthalene is that it is used in pyrotechnic special effects such as in generation of black smoke and simulated explosion. It is used to create artificial pores in the manufacture of your high porosity grinding wheels. In the past, naphthalene was administered orally to kill uh, parasitic worms in livestock, and naphthalene and its alkyl homologues are the major constituents of fuchsate. And naphthalene is also used in engineering so that we can study heat transfers using mass sublimation. So here it is used as a pyrotechnic special effect as they are generating the black smoke as well as the simulated explosive also. So the naphthalene derivatives. So the naphthalene derivatives is your 1-naphthol. So the partial lift of naphthalene derivatives includes the following compound. So 1-naphthol. So 1-naphthol is prepared by two main routes. In one method, naphthalene is nitrated to give one nitronaphthalene, which is hydrogenated to the amine, followed by your hydrolysis. So this is your naphthalene, and this is uh, uh, nitric acid. In the presence of nitric acid, this is nitrated, and there is a formation of this nitronaphthalene. And again, this nitronaphthalene is hydrogenated, and there is a formation. There is a hydrogenated to the amine, and again, this amine that is formed from this 1-nitronaphthalene. Then its hydrolysis occurs, and there is a formation of this 1-naphthol. So here, this is the process of forming the naphthol, 1-naphthol. So here you can see that 1-naphthol are prepared by the two main routes. First method is that firstly we have to nitrated this naphthalene. There is a formation of this 1-nitronaphthalene, and we have to hydrogenate it, means there is the addition of this hydrogen, and there is a formation of this amine. And after that, this amine is formed, which is then hydrolyzed, and there is a formation of this naphthol. Thus, ammonia is removed out. Alternatively, naphthalene is hydrogenated to tetraline, which is oxidized to 1-tetralone, which undergoes dehydrogenation. The next is this is the second derivative of this naphthalene, 1-fluoronaphthalene. 1-fluoronaphthalene can be obtained by reacting, when we are reacting this naphthalene with your select fluor, then there is a formation of this fluoronaphthalene, which is your colorless combustible liquid, and it is insoluble in water. Next is your chloronaphthalene. So this chloronaphthalene is obtained by chlorination. If we are chlorinating this naphthalene, then there is a formation of this chloronaphthalene. Formation of more highly substituted derivatives such as dichloro and trichloromethyl, in addition to the two monochlorinated isomeric compound, that is a 1-chloronaphthalene or the 2-chloronaphthalene is formed. Next is your bromonaphthalene. So here it is prepared by treating this naphthalene with the bromine. So there is a bromonaphthalene is formed. The compound exhibit many reactions, typically of aryl bromide. Bromide can be displaced by cyanide to give the nitrile. It forms a Grignard reagent and ortholithium compound. While lithionaphthalene can be further lithiated to give you 1,8-dilithiopropylene, a precursor to form a perinaphthalene compound. Next is these are the structure of your derivatives of naphthalene. Next, phenanthrene. Phenanthrene is a polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon that is fused of these three fused benzene ring. In its pure form, it is found in cigarette smoke and also in the irritant photosynthesizing skin to the light. And this phenanthrene appear as a white powder having blue fluorescence, and this phenanthrene is the backbone of your morphine. So the morphine is having the structure. In this structure, morphine structure, this phenanthrene is present, and this is the backbone of the morphine. So this appear as a white powder, and it is also found in the cigarette smoke as well as in the as a nitrate irritant photosynthesizing skin to light. So this is the structure of your phenanthrene. You can write like this also, and you can write like this also. So resonance structure of your phenanthrene. So like anthracene, phenanthrene is also a planar molecule. All 14 carbon atom are sp2 hybridized. The sp2 orbitals overlap with each other and with s orbital of 10 hydrogen atom, and c carbon and carbon hydrogen sigma bond. Each carbon atom also possesses a p orbital, and these are perpendicular to the plane containing the bond. So these phenanthrenes shows aromatic property because of there is the presence of the this pi molecular orbital that is satisfying the Huckel rule. That is why these are aromatic in aromatic. That is why they are showing the aromatic properties. So this is the resonance structure of this phenanthrene, and this is the resonance energy is your 91 kilocalorie per mole. So here. Next, this is the preparation of phenanthrene, and here you can see this. There is a preparation of this phenanthrene. This is first method is Howard phenanthrene synthesis. In this naphthalene, in the presence of this succinic anhydride, there is a presence in the presence of this catalyst aluminum chloride. There is a formation of this intermediate. After that, with the zinc amalgam, there is a presence of formation of this intermediate. After there is a there is a removal of water and addition of this with this. H2SO4, there is a formation of this 3,4-dihydrophenanthrene, 1,2H-one, and after that, again with the zinc amalgam and HCl, there is a formation of this tetrahydrophenanthrene, and this after that with the celium and the prendium, this phenanthrene is formed. The reaction of phenanthrene. So this is the reduction. And after we are reducting this phenanthrene in the presence of your sodium, heat, and there is a formation of this 9,10-dihydrophenanthrene. The oxidation. So in the oxidation, this phenanthrene is oxidizes in the presence of this potassium dichromate, and there is a formation of this 9,10-phenanthrone. Next, when oxidized with chromic acid, there is a formation of this. There is a acetic acid. Phenanthrene yields this diketone phenanthroquinone, and after that it is further oxidizes, and there is a formation of this diphenic acid. Next, bromination. So here phenanthrene bromination is done, and there is a 9-bromophenanthrene is formed. So this is the electrophilic addition versus your electrophilic substitution. So phenanthrene, first there is a electrophilic addition, a substitution. There is a formation of this 9-bromophenanthrene, and in the second there is a addition. So there is a formation of this 9,10-dihydrophenanthrene. So this with the Y, there is a addition. So this Y is added to this position. After that, when this Z, there is a substitution. This first substitution product is formed, and next is your addition. So this is the reactivity of 9th at position towards electrophilic attack, where the reaction leads to substitution and addition. And the carbocation can either A, give up to the proton to give the substitution product, and B, to the addition product. So again, question. So phenanthrene is a fused polycyclic compound that contain how many benzene ring? 3, which is fused cyclic aromatic compound, naphthalene. Which among the following is not a property of aromatic hydrocarbon? That is, these compounds do not undergo nucleophilic substitution, but they undergo electrophilic substitution. So arenes does not undergo dehydrogenation. Arenes are volatile. The main source of these arenes are by this petroleum and coal tar. Benzene has a stronger van der Waals forces than methyl benzene. That is your false. Which among these is not representative arene compound? That is your picric chloride. Which among these is the simplest example for polycyclic arenes? That is your naphthalene. Arenes are polar, false. So these are the references from where you can study this topic. And thank you so much for today's topic.